10 things only people with high-functioning anxiety will understand. Though panic attacks, mood swings, and excessive ruminating are some of the more well-known ways anxiety manifests, it can also simmer beneath the surface. Even though you may be upset, you go about your daily activities, so no one outside of you truly knows what's going on inside of you. High-functioning anxiety is another name for this specific type of anxiety. According to Washington-based licensed clinical psychologist Alicia Clark, author of Hack Your Anxiety, it's not a clinical diagnosis but rather a catch-all term to describe the experience of someone who experiences a significant amount of anxiety but does not exhibit the functioning limitations necessary to meet the criteria for an anxiety disorder. High-functioning anxiety can be seen as a defense mechanism against unfavorable outcomes, according to Seattle-based licensed clinical psychologist Carly Claney. If someone is able to psychologically prepare for all possible negative outcomes, then they may believe they can avoid feelings like disappointment or failure, she said. Therefore, you are rewarded for not only avoiding a bad outcome but also, and generally simultaneously, for achieving a good one. If this description is starting to sound like your autobiography, you're definitely not alone. And you can manage and treat it. Below are just a few other truths of what it's like to live with high-functioning anxiety, according to experts. Number 1. You excel in your career but struggle in your personal life. According to Simon Rigo, chief psychologist at Montefiore Medical Center and associate professor of psychiatry and behavioral sciences at Albert Einstein College of Medicine in New York, one problem that can arise when you have high-functioning anxiety is the propensity to apply the same behavioral patterns that help you succeed in your career to your personal life. The individuals in your personal life, however, are not your coworkers or superiors, and events outside of work rarely unfold in the same manner as they do in your office. Since personal lives are chaotic and out of your control, it might be difficult to define success there in the same way that it is for professional goals, said Claney. You can find it really tough to deal with this and seldom ever feel like you measure up outside of the office. Number 2. It looks like it's ambition that's driving you, but it's really your anxiety. Habits like putting in long hours and responding to emails right away may appear ambitious on the surface. Actually, it's your anxiety making the decisions. The fear of failing rather than a strong desire to achieve is what motivates you. According to Claney, fear of unfavorable consequences, such as losing your footing, damaging your reputation, or outright failing at your job, can be a big motivator in this conduct. Number 3. You seem like you have it all together, but getting through the day is often difficult. According to Clark, those with high-functioning anxiety tend to be planners and list makers because they recognize that taking control is a fundamental strategy for controlling anxiety. They can keep their anxiousness in motion by keeping themselves organized, which enables them to live their lives to the fullest. These lists and plans, however, can be more strenuous than necessary because you always expect yourself to go above and beyond in every aspect of your life, Clark continued. You might find yourself prioritizing your time in the form of avoidance or flaky behavior as your anxiety increases and weariness sets in, which can make your anxiety even worse. Number 4. Your routine getting disrupted makes you feel upset. It might be unpleasant when an outside force causes your plans to be derailed when your go-to strategy for managing your anxiety is planning ahead. Having routines in your life helps generate certainty, according to Rigo. According to Claney, in this case, responding with disturbed feelings may be a secondary emotion to fear. The dread of letting go can make anxiety worse because being interrupted also means being unprepared. Number 5. Your mind never stops, even when you're exhausted. However, stopping to unwind or tune out isn't always simple, according to Clark. People with high-functioning anxiety might theoretically realize the need for balance and respite in order to keep employing their anxiety successfully. For instance, evenings are typically occupied with chores or guilt over not finishing them if there is downtime. When you do make an effort to relax, it usually takes the form of activities or interests that are somewhat less strenuous. Number 6. When you're with others, your mind is often elsewhere. Mental preoccupation is a side effect of high-functioning anxiety, which might cause you to stew about work while hanging out with friends or to dwell about the argument you had with your partner in a meeting. Being really present with others can be difficult if you're used to processing information fast and frequently in your thoughts, according to Clark. No matter how much you care about the people you're spending time with, downtime can seem uncomfortable when you're used to the adrenaline of always being on. This can consequently lead to, you guessed it, more anxiety. Number 7. You get upset over things most people don't think are a big deal. Anxious people are frequently perceptive of their surroundings. According to Clark, you feel things more intensely, are more cognizant of minor variations, and are nearly always spending internal resources to endure irritants in the background, even if you aren't conscious of it. Consider uncomfortably warm or cool surroundings, loud noises, and bright lights. For someone with high-functioning anxiety, what most others would consider a little nuisance can become a significant one. Rigo continued, the more you depend on things being a certain way to control your anxiety, the more unhappy you'll be when they, well, aren't. Number 8. You frequently cancel plans because you don't have the energy to put on a show. The extremely high standards that might result from high-functioning anxiety demand a lot of energy to uphold. It is draining to constantly worry and to establish routines to boost assurance in order to survive, according to Rigo. This may lead to you abandoning your ambitions because you believe you are too busy performing for others. Number 9. Days off feel like more work than work. For a person with high-functioning anxiety, a day off is when you can finally finish all the other tasks on your to-do list rather than using the day to relax. These days can feel even more taxing than a work day, Clark said. Facing chores and a larger to-do list than there is time to do it, with a depleted energy level can make it feel that way. And chances are, you spend your free time reflecting more on what you didn't get done than what you did. Number 10. Your feelings get dismissed by others because not only do you seem fine, you're excelling. Living with high-functioning anxiety may be extremely unpleasant, especially because of the misconceptions that are often associated with it. Others may not understand your feelings of failure or being out of control, and you could feel rejected by their support or admiration, according to Claney. When someone misinterprets or rejects your attempt to be vulnerable, it can reinforce your conviction that failing isn't something you can risk and make you feel even more anxious. This kind of existence can be exhausting, but it is manageable. If your worry becomes overwhelming, speak with your doctor or a mental health expert. You deserve to feel better, not just in one area of your life, but in all of them.